Crispina French, and I'm an iconic American recycling textile artist, and I'm here to teach you how to make your holidays super green. Any guesses on what these are made out of? They're made out of garbage. Bubble wrap, brown paper packing, and my idea is to come up with a really cool name for these. We're thinking bubble bobbles, double bubble bobble, which works great for the ones that are made out of bubble wrap, but they're not all made out of bubble wrap. So if you have a cool name, leave it in the comments.
If you guys are crafters out there and you have either knitting yarn or embroidery floss in your home, you might have something that looks like this, a big tangle of pieces, of bits and pieces, odds and ends of colorful string that's all a big knot. Take a bunch of those little pieces of yarn just by pulling them out, and if they're tangled, it's fine just to snip them, so you don't have to worry about spending time untangling stuff. And then just tying those pieces end to end, and so two pieces together, and then just a simple like overhand knot like that, and then wrapping them into a ball so that it actually looks really pretty as you roll it up. So just adding the bits as you go. Kind of, I try to make different colors next to each other so it's not one long stretch of a similar color. If you don't have a tangled mess of string in your life, embroidery floss, yarn, thread even works just fine, like sewing thread for the sewing machine or hand sewing. So there's my ball of string to start with.
There's a couple things that you'll need. One is, pieces of bubble wrap about this size. If they're bigger, you can tear them or cut them to size. This is the small type of bubble wrap. I haven't used the big type, but I think it would work just as well. Newspaper works really well. This is probably a little too small to make a whole one with. And then pieces of brown paper packaging. This size works really well. And then plastic bags from like the grocery store. This one's from the Goodwill, where we do an awful lot of shopping. So you're just going to take that material and ball it up, and the idea is to kind of just make it round, and the plastic works really easily to make a round ball, but if you are using paper or the bubble wrap, you kind of have to do a little bit more fiddling with it to get it to kind of find a spherical shape.
Okay, so we're going to reformulate our sphere about the size of an ornament, a traditional kind of holiday ornament for your tree. And then we're going to pick up, we have a bunch of fabric scraps here that I cut in sort of random shapes, but this one's probably like an 8 by 8 inch square. I have some pieces of brightly sort of metallic pretty trims that I've just got a little piece of left. This is a great project for any kinds of little scraps, bits and pieces that you might find. And if you don't have scraps of fabric in your life, hightail it right over to the Salvation Army and get yourself some super gaudy, shiny stuff to make this project with. This piece is kind of translucent. It's really pretty. And here's a piece. This was from like a some sort of maybe Indian, maybe a sari, I don't remember, garment, and it has this beautiful like little beaded accent. So I'm just going to kind of hold it over the top of the sphere, and then I'm going to take my little ball of string that I've wound from all the tangles in my string supplies, and I'm going to just wrap that fabric in place. So I'm going to kind of hold it down and just kind of wrap around like you're winding a ball of string, and I'm going to try to cover some of that white plastic with the fabric as I go, and just keep wrapping it. And one of the ways I get the finished piece to be kind of spherical is just if I see a bump, I kind of just push it down with my finger and make sure that I'm wrapping over that kind of round piece, and it kind of builds a sphere. It's very much like making a snowball when you are a kid out in the yard. You can kind of shape them as you go. Okay, so when you get to the end of, wrapping it so that's nice and round and you like the look of it, if you want to make it more spherical and cover it more, you can continue to wrap. You can even add bits as you go, bits of fabric. I'm going to cut this right here, so I think that's about a 12-inch piece of tail of string. I have a large tapestry needle here, and actually if you guys don't have large tapestry needles, you can usually find them at your local craft supply store. I sell them on my website if that's of interest, and you can also sometimes find them at like a knitting store. You want it to be kind of sharp because you're going to stitch this straight through. So I've got it in the sphere now, pushing into the plastic, and I'm going to use the table that I'm standing here at and just push it through the sphere to the other side. So now that I have the needle through the sphere, can you see that? There's one end kind of in there and then the sharp end coming out. I'm going to pull it through with a pair of pliers. It's much easier just to have a little pair of pliers handy if you're if you have a pair of pliers. Then to make the hanging loop, I'm just going to tie another knot, and I'm going to pull it down so I have a couple of inches. So there's the knot here, right here, and then I have a couple inches left. So I'm going to again thread my needle with a large eye so it's not too hard, and I'm going to go right back into where I came out and just stitch it off a couple of inches. I made a big knot on the end, and then I'm just going to pull it back through. So there's a hanger. So now you have this really super cool ornament with a little sparkle from the original beaded buttony part, and there you go. I think these were going to make really cool garlands all stitched together into one long rope. They look really cool just in a group like that, just maybe displayed in a big glass jar on your holiday centerpiece. At any rate, have a bunch of fun with it, and send me pictures of what you come up with. And if you have questions or you run into any issues, please just let us know, and we'll be happy to help you through making your holidays just a little bit greener.